Welcome to the Dice Tower's series of top 10 lists from the tabletop gaming world. Your hosts are Tom Vasel, Sam Healey, and Zee Garcia. Today's topic is
We're back!
Hey, how you doing?
Today we will do a kind of generic list, top 10, although I suspect everyone will disagree with us, and we will disagree with each other. Because we're talking about the top 10 essential games. That, you know, if you are starting a game collection, these are the games you should buy. Now, a couple things to clear up. First of all, every time we do this, people say, that wasn't a top 10, that was a top 30. But it's not, because it's his top 10, and his top 10, and my top 10. So should we call this the 3 top 10s?
Sure.
No, we're just going to call it top 10. Secondly, people wonder why we haven't posted the list of these online. Because I don't want to. I want you to watch the video. Yeah. So that you have to go through. Because if we just post them online, you just go read the list and then you don't watch the video. And then we've wasted our time talking. We could have just posted this. You want the list? Here it is. Okay, take a screenshot.
That was a mistake, Vasel. All right, folks. Have a good one. Bye.
All right, so here we go. Now, essential games. Does anyone, I don't know, maybe you guys do. Do you really think that everybody should have these 10 games?
Well, for me, the way I tackled it is there is first 10 games you should play if you've not played this kind of game. That's a slightly different list. These 10 games for me are 10 games you're probably going to still hold on to, or you should, 10 years down the road. Okay, it's 10 games that encompass as many groups, as many possibilities as possible. You know what I mean? Like, there's as many different gatherings, as many different occasions for gaming as possible covered in my 10. They are the 10 best of whatever category they represent. That's sort of how I tackle it.
I didn't pick the 10 best of that categories. I picked categories like you did, but I picked the game I think that would be the most widespread, the one that most people would like, not necessarily my personal favorite of the category.
Okay, I think I'm right there with you.
Yeah, that's pretty much where I was too. I tried to also keep in mind the price point because I didn't want to have. I did not include some games because of what I thought you needed to buy in order to have the game. So, and I wanted to try to keep the price point down a little bit. So that was one of the things that I looked into. Not the cheapest, of course, because there's not really a whole lot of things that are cheap anymore. But I also picked basically 10 categories and kind of the game that I've used the most out of each category.
Okay.
And I tried to make mine games that you can find. Somewhat. It's not, this obscure relic that only I have. But everybody...
I didn't really worry about either of those things.
I can tell.
If it's out of print or if it's expensive, I didn't really concern myself with it too much because those things sort of cycle. It'll come back in print or you might be able to find a cheap copy. So I just went for the ones I thought represented those categories best. But that's good. If you're looking for that, watching the video, then listen to what they're saying.
Availability didn't even enter my mind. I'm pretty sure most of the games.
Most of yours are available.
You can get them, so it's not that big of a deal.
Here we go.
Number 10.
All right, my number 10 is a game called Gem Blow. Now, this version is called Gem Blow Lite because it's a smaller version, and I believe this is
That's pretty much the only version you can get anymore.
That's the only version you can get anymore. They had one that came in a box that was about like this. And it was really hard to carry around, and so when this came out, I went ahead and purchased this one instead of the bigger version. But I think this is the one that you'll be able to purchase from now on. This is the abstract category for me, and the reason this makes my abstract category is because of the shapes. I think it brings to the board a little bit more diversity than just Blocus. I mean, that Blocus just looks boring to me.
It's Bloku.
Whatever. Okay. Blokus.
It's actually block us.
Block us. Yes.
That does make more sense.
Anyway, but it's basically the same kind of idea as Blockus, Blocus, Bloku, whatever you want to say. But it has gem-shaped pieces, octagonal pieces, instead of... No, not octagonal. It's...
Hexagonal.
Hexagonal. There you go.
Yes, that too.
Pronounce it correctly.
Shut it!
But Gem Blow definitely makes my top list. There's a way to play it solo. There's a way to play it with... a whole bunch of people, so it definitely a game you need to pick up.
Cool.
Had I done a top 20, this would have been on the list too for the same reason. And one reason that you didn't mention that I really like about this one is the number of players. It works great with 2,
Right.
3, 4, and 6.
Yeah.
5, kind of.
Yeah.
So, anyhow, my top 10 is going to be talked about on someone else's list later. I picked it because I think everyone should have a somewhat heavier style game, and that's Pillars of the Earth.
All right, cool. And my number 10 is Telestration.
Party!
My party category. Basically, I think Telestrations covers the widest base when it comes to a party game. It's kind of like Pictionary, but way better than that. It's much funnier than most other party games. It covers, especially if you get this one, 12 players. I mean, you can play a crowd with this, and everybody just gets it, and you're gonna get a fun party out of it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that was the one that I chose to represent the party category. You can get it everywhere.
But can't you just do this with pieces of paper and a pencil?
You can, and you're still probably playing the same game. I'm not saying go buy this. I'm saying play it.
No, I am, because the pads.
Buy this.
Wow.
Forget that company. No. This is so much easier. The fact that you can erase the
Yes,
same
that's a
bits and
big
use them
deal.
over, it's no way. I couldn't envision playing this with paper. No way.
I've done it. It's terrible compared to this.
Yep. Got this.
Number 9.
All right, number 9 for me is also on someone's list farther down, but a big category for me is the CCG aspect, or at least a 2-player more involved strategy game, and for me that would be Summoner Wars.
Sweet. For me, right now, number 9 is Biblios. Biblios is my filler category. Okay, a good, quick filler card game. Most people would probably put something like For Sale in this category.
Ooh, that would have.
Yeah, I for one think For Sale has been outdone. The game's really old. It's very simple. There's very few decisions to be made in the game, and I think this, in about the same amount of time, gives you a lot more to do. There's some really fun auctions, some great drafting here. This is just a quality game, and if you need a light filler card game, I think this is the way to go. Right.
Man, I didn't even think of For Sale, but I think For Sale is better than this one. This is a good one, though. That's a toss-up.
I thought of For Sale. It made my top 15.
2-1.
Yeah, For Sale plays more people. That's the difference.
Yeah,
I think it plays 6. But
It's also easier to teach than Biblios. I can teach For Sale to anybody, anytime, anywhere.
barely. But this has a lot more meat, I think. So a good filler that's going to stick around. Again, my plan here is 10 years from now, hopefully you'll still have the game, is this. I kind of burnt out on For Sale, but this is a keeper. So there you go. Biblios.
All right, my 2-player category is a game called Kahuna, where it's 2-player game, of course, I just said, man, I'm such an idiot. Anyway, 2-player game, said it a third time, where you are building bridges between islands.
Sorry, go ahead. Go ahead.
Go ahead, keep going.
Man, you're creeping me out over there. Where you're building bridges between islands, you can build a bridge between an island, score points, and then the other person can replace your bridge, and basically it's just a really good back and forth, light-hearted conflict, nothing mean-spirited about it, but Kahuna.
How many players?
2.
Number 8.
All right, my number 8 here is 2-player abstract category.
How many players? Go ahead.
2. Keep track for me, baby. Czar, which is one of the GIPF project games. This is the last one.
Why'd you pick this one out of all of them?
Because it's the best one, actually. There's like this and Yinch are neck and neck.
Oh, I love Yench.
Yeah, they're both the best, absolutely.
Okay.
And this is a great game. Maybe a little less discovered than Yinch at this point, but this is slightly quicker than Yinch and packed with strategy right off the bat, whereas Yinch takes that, like the first 5-10 minutes, you're kind of building up to actually be strategic. This you got to be careful right off the bat, or you will lose, you know? So again, you're looking for a 2-player abstract strategy game, past Risk, I was going to say. Past chess, past any of those, Czar. Great game.
Wait, isn't chess on our list? All right, go ahead.
All right, My game, my number 8 is Say Anything. I would have a box representation for you right now, but I wasn't told that I needed to bring it.
Okay.
There's probably going to be a picture flashing before your screen in
Now.
one now. So there you go.
I'm going to make it last a second.
Say Anything is really my party category, and it's the one that battled it out with Apples to Apples. I think Apples to Apples is more mainstream nowadays. It's out in all the stores, and I think you can readily get you can get.
Yeah, but I'm starting to feel what he said about.
You're stealing my thunder.
Oh, sorry.
Apples to Apples tapers off for me, and I think for most of us here, it just went. Bleh. Say Anything has the same idea to where you have a judge picking a category, and then you have to match something to that category. But with Say Anything, you literally get to say anything. You're not restricted to the cards you have in your hand.
Actually, write anything.
Yeah, it's write anything. That's true. But you're writing in a little quote.
Fix it.
You can't call a game Write Anything.
You're writing in a little quote thing, so it's okay. It's
right,
it's
I'll
a
back
quote.
off.
It's a quote bubble. So anyway, it has the same feel, but I think it has more longevity than Apples to Apples does. So that's my party game category. Say Anything.
Mine is Dominion, which this is the only.
Guilds! Guilds! You have guilds!
I actually have Dominion in just a plain white box now because there's so much of it. Dominion is kind of fading to some degree compared to a lot of the new flashier deck builders. But still, of all the deck builders, it's the easiest to get into probably. Mm-hmm. It's the one that if I wanted to convert Magic the Gathering players, Dominion's the one I would bring in for them. I like Thunderstone, I like Core Worlds, and my top 10 deck building games was just posted on the Dice Tower, and Dominion was number 3. But if I'm going to keep one to play with other people or recommend that you try one out, Dominion, basically just the base game. I would recommend the base game first for anybody. And then if you want to go farther, fine. There's, I think, 6 expansions. You can pick and choose amongst them. But the game itself is really easy to play, and we played the snot out of this when we first played. I just play. I don't think we do that anymore.
For some reason.
Sam was getting annoyed. He's like, Dominion again?
Yes.
But I still do enjoy it. I still keep it. But I'm saying if you get one, if you're trying in this deck building genre, this would be the first one I would recommend. Do you guys disagree?
No, I agree. My list didn't end up having a deck building game in it because I don't think it's I'm in the minority. I know that, but I don't think it's a big enough category that you need a game in that category, or else your collection is flawed. It's fine.
Well, I don't remember saying that, but all right.
You insinuated it. No, it's a card game, with this new mechanic on it, but I didn't have a deck builder in my list. So, but if I did, yes, I would still say Dominion.
I'm not on the Dominion bandwagon here. I think Thunderstone plays so much like Dominion, and yet it has so much more flavor and is more fun to me because of that theme aspect that's there. And whereas I don't think the theme aspect is here.
I agree, but
just paste it on.
I think that makes it easier to play with other people. Like my wife, when I say Thunderstone, we get to fight monsters in a dungeon. She's kind of like, whoa.
Yeah, I got that. I can see that. It's just I think Thunderstone is more fun, and it really plays the exact same way as Dominion does.
Yeah.
All right.
Number 7.
All right, my number 7 is a light war game. If you're looking for a light war game, I still think Nexus Ops is probably one of the best.
This is the original.
This is the it's one of the best choices you can still make. Obviously, like he says, it's the original. You can get it now from Fantasy Flight. Does not look anything like this, but plays up to 4. Plays relatively quickly. It's about 90 minutes. And it just gives you a great flavor. Get in, do your fighting, do your smacking around, grab the stuff you need, get out. 90 minutes. Great light war game.
Yeah.
Someone else is going to mention another game in a little bit, which would have been my alternate to this. We'll get to that when it comes up. Nexus Ops. Great.
Yeah, this category actually, well, I'll mention in a moment. Okay. Mine is the, I don't know what to call this. I call this the werewolf category, but it's, without spoiling, The Resistance is one of those games, and there's other games in this category that are coming out. We're going to play one today, hopefully.
Again?
No. I haven't even mentioned that one yet. But anyway, but The Resistance works really well. The one thing about The Resistance is that I like is that it's very self-contained. To run a good game of werewolf, you need a good moderator. Resistance you can just bring out and play with a group of people, and it works pretty well from 5 to 10. And I mean, there's really no, maybe 7's a good sweet spot, but it's not bad with 5 and it's not bad with 10. Mm-hmm. And there's an alternate version of it called Avalon, which is essentially the same game. But I like it a lot. It might be getting to be overplayed in our particular game group, but that's because I think it works so well. Yeah. And also, this is the kind of game that at a convention you're like, ooh, let's play Resistance, and you can bring it out. I'm sure there will be a disagreement on a future number.
No, I think if you need, again, there's no game that I think matches this at that size group for sitting around a living room and having a great tense game where you're still not needing to be crowded around the table, but the atmosphere is just ever present, so I'm right there with you. And I'll talk about something else later.
All right. So mysterious. All right, my number 7 is Small World. This is my conflict category. It's my conflict category, and it has so much flavor to it, and it's so easy to teach. I can teach this easily in about 15 minutes, I think. It doesn't have a whole lot of rules, and just the flow of it is very smooth. You take a race of people, elves or dwarves or whatever it might be, and you conquer as much territory as you can, and then you continue to expand until you can't expand anymore, and then you put that race into decline, and you get another race. So it's like multiple flavors in one game for every player. So that's one of the things that I really liked about it. It's never boring, and there's really not a lot of downtime in this game at all. So it's a very fun game. It's very simple to teach. And the base game, it gives you so much replayability. It's amazing because of just the mechanic of how the race and the race bonus work together, and there's different combinations every game. So,
absolutely,
hands down, my conflict game you should get is Small World.
I was really strenuously constrained by the 10 that we said to make our list. If I had made an 11th, it would have been Small World. And I considered Nexus Ops and a couple other Memoir 44, a couple other light war games. And the reason I wouldn't have picked Memoir 44 and Nexus Ops is because of the player constraints. Nexus Ops really only works with 4, maybe 3.
3, I've played with all numbers, and I do like all numbers.
2 is, it's okay.
The best. You're right.
Right. But Small World, I think, works equally well with 2 to 5.
Yeah, because it has different size maps.
And a 6-player board is coming out soon. Very excited about that.
And that was my alternate for Nexus Ops for my light war game category, which is not a category I'm hugely into anyway, hence light war game. Mm-hmm. But it was Nexus Ops, followed very closely by Small World.
I will say, though, the one thing that made me consider Nexus Ops over Small World, although I ultimately would have picked Small World, is I get to chuck dice in Nexus Ops. And sometimes you just want to chuck dice.
Yeah, that's true.
Number 6.
For my pick for the 2-player category, which Sam picked Kahuna for, which is a great game, but I would pick Lost Cities. This is a classic. It's, I think, it's 99. It's 14 years old at this point. But I still have it in my collection. The box looks fine, but my cards are very much beat up at this point in time because I've played it so much. I think not everybody needs one, but I like having that 2-player game. I said to my wife, let's play a game, boom, 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 and Lost Cities it is. She's not interested in, as I mentioned earlier, Summoner Wars was on my list because I want that deeper strategic game. But this one, for a quick, fast, fun game, it's really hard to beat Lost Cities.
Yeah.
Thoughts? You don't like it?
I think it's real easy to beat Lost Cities, but I think Kahuna beats Lost Cities.
Well, here's the thing.
Well, obviously, it's on your list.
At the beginning of the video, I talked about how my list for essential 10 years from now you're keeping them games, and 10 first games were two different lists, in my opinion, I think I would put this on the first 10 games you should get list. If you'll keep it 10 years from now, that's debatable.
Well, yeah, but I
It
mean,
wouldn't have made my essential list, because I do think there's many better two-player games.
I do have it 10 years later, though.
But you're an aberration.
That's you.
All right, fine. What's yours?
All right, mine is talked about higher on Zee's list, so we'll talk about it more in detail later. But my number 6 is Jamaica.
Woo, Jamaica.
Now, this one will become as a great surprise.
And
Someone spoiled it, Sam.
What? I didn't do it.
all right, my number 6 is again Werewolf for a big crowd, big party game. You need to play 15 people. Not gonna happen very often, but in case you do, Werewolf it is. Again, Resistance. You guys are probably right that it's a little more polished. It's a little.
It was a real toss-up for me. I would accept Werewolf as.
You know, I do like Resistance probably at this point a little bit more, but this plays many, many more players.
Right.
And gives you pretty much the same vibe. You can sit around, you're not sure who's who, you got that tension going on. Yeah. You need a group, you need a game rather that plays a really large group. Werewolf is still it, I think.
Really, really needs a moderator that knows what he's doing, though.
Yeah.
Amen. That's the only downside to it, because there are some people who can't moderate this to save their lives.
Right.
They'll like speak at the werewolf. Okay, who are you killing? And I can hear them standing talking to the person over there. You know.
So there you go, Werewolf.
Number 5.
All right, my number 5 is a game that Tom had, I guess, lower on his list.
Yeah, number 9.
Number 9. But that is Summoner Wars. Again, would have had a pictorial representation for you, but somebody didn't tell me that I needed.
I have Summoner Wars. It's right there.
What? I love it.
I could have brought my big, nice-looking master set and had it here looking, and you would have been like drooling and stuff. But I've got these things.
There's a flash picture.
There
Okay.
we go. All right. So anyway, this does at least help me hit on why I picked Summoner Wars. One of the reasons why you can buy Summoner Wars with just 2 decks.
That's right.
And it's like $25.
It might be even cheaper than that for the 2-player game set.
And you can give it a try, and if you like it, cut your losses. Not that big of a deal.
If you don't like it.
Yeah, if you don't like it. I really strongly think that you will. And then if you do like it, you can go ahead and fork out the extra $50 for the master set, which comes with what, 8
right.
different
Is it
decks.
8 or is it 6?
And so
6 or
Shut the door.
it's one of the two, 6 or 8. Well, I think that's the first time I've ever had that happen to me while I'm sitting in this room.
You're
Tom Vasel said, "Shut the door." That's amazing.
You're ruining the moment. Let's go.
It's fast.
Anyway, Summoner Wars. I'll just go ahead and, because I know these, at least one of these guys wants to say something. It's a very easy, very simple 2-player strategy game. Can play up to 4 players, but it's really meant for 2. And plus, you have to have 2 boards to play 4 players. So it's a 2-player game.
Yeah.
And this is my card game category, but this is Summoner Wars.
Right. I remember the first time I pulled it out with Sam, and it didn't look like much. I was like, oh, I hope this is good.
Right.
And it's made by a guy who likes Hero Escape, and then we played it. I was like, this is really good.
Really fun.
One of the things I like about it is it's going to finish because you're going to run out of that deck.
Yes.
You're going to run out of your cards. You have to use your... It's not like you know, some games can drag out forever.
Right.
Summoner Wars finishes quickly. It seems to be incredibly balanced. There's, I think, 16 different factions that you can get now.
Wow.
You can buy the master set, which comes with 6 of them, which is a big chunk, or you can buy all these different ones, reinforcements, build your deck, or you can be happy with the starter stuff, and you never feel the urge to go out and buy the new packs of it. So for me, there are other great games in this genre.
Yeah.
But Summoner Wars is, if you're going to get one, it's the one to pick.
Yeah, and it's a great game to fill that CCG, but I don't want to make the investment category.
Right.
Because you can get the big one, 2-player, buy the one-offs, which are great. The one-off armies are excellent. and you still get that feeling of, man, I get to deck build with these, I can mess around, try different flavors, and I don't have to buy a booster box of something, hope I get it, and it's $120.
Yeah.
You know? So yeah, good one there.
Number 5.
Number 5 for me is... Okay, there we go. Jamaica! I wasn't sure if I had gone already on this one. Jamaica, you keep jumping around the order.
Sorry.
I'm sitting there next time. Okay, Jamaica is, for me, fills in the racing, light racing, simultaneous selection a little bit category. Okay, I don't really like that mechanic.
Works really well here, though.
But it works excellently here, yes. And the game is stunning, first of all. It looks gorgeous. So you need a game to bring people over to the table just to, wow them over with the way the game looks set up.
Yeah.
This one will do that for you.
Yeah.
And plays a nice group, has some light conflict, some racing, some action cards. It hits a lot of bases that I think most people would like to have their gaming collection hit, and it just does it so well. For me, this is absolutely a game you would keep 10 years from acquiring it. It'll play mixed groups as well. You play younger folk with adults. It just hits so many things correctly for me.
Yeah.
What do you think?
Yeah, same thing. It's my racing game choice. It was either this or Formula D for me, and this one won out just because of the I think the kid friendliness a little bit more, because
works really well.
This very, very easily.
And it's pirates.
This one's prettier than Formula D. It has the pirate theme, which is really prevalent in today's society. So it has a whole lot of things that are just hitting on it. A lot of different pistons are all firing here. So
I feel like this game doesn't get a whole lot of love these days. I never hear anyone talking about it, but this is such a sweet game, such an amazing game. For a light racing game with a lot of flavor. Cannon fire and fighting and taking shortcuts or taking the long way and hoping for treasure.
Yeah.
It's a great game.
It's just really good. And I don't understand how this one kind of has flown underneath the radar, but you really need to try to pick this up if you haven't got it yet.
Well, it's on two people's lists, and it was in my top 20 when I was narrowing down. Again, I had the same thing. Jamaica, Formula D, which one? Even I like Ave Caesar, but that one's out of print, so that one was, but...
Yeah, for me, it would have been Jamaica or Snowtails, actually. That's my racing game.
Okay.
Actually, there's some more racing games that are coming out in the future, I think, that may... But, production. Okay, moving on. Oh, no, we're not moving on. It's me.
You did it, too!
Oh,
no, I don't feel so stupid.
No, you can. But... I don't have mine with me because it's packed up somewhere ready to go to Dice Tower Convention, and that's Wits and Wagers. Wits and Wagers is a great party game. I like it because it really can encompass a huge amount of people. It makes a great game show. If you're at Dice Tower Convention, you'll see. It makes a great game show, but it can go 7 players. And the thing is, everyone loves trivia. Everyone likes these trivia games, but they hate playing with that guy. That guy. I hate
knows
that
all the
guy.
answers.
Oh, yeah. You said 1934? It's 1936, you doofus.
Guy.
But in Wits and Wagers, you can bet on that guy's answer and get the points. You don't have to know the trivia. You just have to kind of guess, and you wager. And there's 2 other versions, Wits and Wagers Family and Wits and Wagers Party, which... Some people like those better. I'm still a fan of. I like to throw that and see how much money I can lose in the game, fake money. But it's a great party game. Telestrations was a good choice. Say Anything's a good choice by the same company, actually, as Wits and Wagers. Those would be the 3 just really big ones. There's a lot of great party games out there, but
I think those 3 cover a lot of bases. If you need just a couple of party games to get started, those 3 are the way to go.
Yep.
We're so unified.
Yeah.
Number 4.
All right, here we go. My game for number 4 is King of Tokyo, but that's a higher on someone else's list, so we'll talk about it then.
My game for number 4 is King of Tokyo, but it's listed on somebody else's list.
Who could it be?
Higher. So we'll talk about it later.
My game's King of Tokyo too, but it's higher on someone else's list.
Wait, we have a paradox.
Ooh, no, my game is actually Shadows over Camelot, and it's higher on someone else's list.
This is boring. Let's go to number 3.
Number 3.
My number 3 is a worker placement game category, Stone Age. The reason I picked Stone Age is because it does have a very all-encompassing aspect. I think a wide number of players can play this, wide number of ages rather, can play this and enjoy it. Whereas other worker placement games, they get a little bit too heavy. This one's a very light, very simple to understand, plus it's very pretty. It has a board that has a whole lot going on, art-wise, artistically speaking, but it's not cluttered. It's partitioned well. Everything, all the different areas are very clearly set apart, and I think that really helps out a lot. The components in this were pretty cool. I love the little leather cup, although it kind of stinks now.
You mean physically?
Yes. Yeah. I mean, you actually
Old factorily.
Curious. Keep going.
That's kind of weird. I don't want to touch it now, but that's creepy. But anyway,
Put that in a montage somewhere.
easily, Pillars of the Earth was one of the ones that I thought about, but this being lighter than Pillars of the Earth, I went with Stone Age as an entry level. If you like Stone Age and you want the next level, then you would go to something like Pillars of the Earth. But that's my number 3, Stone Age.
My number 3 is No Thanks.
No, thanks.
It's so lame. It's the only thing I don't like about it. It's like, hey guys, you want to play this? And it's
No
constantly, ha ha! Now shut up and play it.
Funny.
Okay, this is my. You pick Biblios for your filler type game. This is mine. This is the one I can bring out. It works well with 3 to 5 players. I wish it was more actually.
Yeah, but when I bring my game on, nobody can say Biblios. See, I avoid that whole thing.
I'm going to do that next time he tries that game.
I'm gonna do that every time.
I'm going to say, Biblios?
But No Thanks, really, it's such a simple mechanic. You take a card or you throw a chip on it, and then if you take the card, you get all the chips that are on it. And you don't want cards. It's so easy to teach. It's easy to play. I played this. This is probably the game I played the most with people who've come to my house who don't play any other game.
Sure.
They'll say, oh, I don't know what to play. What is it? When they come to my house and they see my game room and they're like, and I say, they're like, I don't know if I like any of these games. I'm like, all right, we'll try No Thanks. That's always the one I do. And it's so, then they play it, and I'm like, do you want to play another one? And usually they say, no, that was kind of complicated, But this is the game. It's so easy to carry around.
So elitist. Yeah, no, that's a good filler.
Oh, did you hear that condensation there?
Condensation.
Condensation, yeah.
Sorry.
It's kind of wet.
Stop making fun of my word. Please say, oh yeah, that's an okay choice.
I just think Biblios has the legs. Again, first 10 games you should try. That's probably a great filler.
Now who's being elitist? No, the first 10 games.
No, I just think it doesn't really have the legs. The longevity. Like Sam was talking about the longevity a while ago, and I agree.
But this does have the longevity. I mean, look at this, 202004. I've had this for almost 10 years.
I'm with Tom on this one.
Yeah.
Because I use this all the time with youth group. I can bring it out when my kids have friends over for a sleepover, that type of stuff. We can pull this out and play it. It's real easy, real simple.
Cool. All right, my game is Factory Fun. Shut up, Sam. He hates it. Sam hates this game.
We give it a marker and make this factory not fun.
No thanks, Sam.
It's okay.
No. All right, for this fills for me the puzzly category. Basically what Gemblo did for Sam, I think. This for me is the best of the puzzly style games. You got this and things like Fits, games like that. I think this has the most longevity. It gives you a neat theme, a weird theme, but a neat theme, and then a really great spatial thinking element. There's a little bit of a speed element at the beginning of each round, but it's a non-issue. You actually will hurt yourself if you think of it as a speed game. You don't want to grab quickly. You want to think about what you're doing. even if somebody else takes something before you would have had a chance to take it.
And that's the one thing that would have helped you this round.
Right.
After you thought about it. You knew that's what you needed, but somebody else took it faster than you.
Yeah, so it has a slight speed element. But
It
then
has
the
a
meat of the
speed element,
game,
there's nothing slight about it.
the meat of the game is the spatial element, putting together the factory machines, connecting them with piping, things like that. Again, if you like the idea of a puzzle game, this, I think, is one of the best ones.
All right. Now, I disagree with Sam that this game isn't fun. I like it. However, Zee's crazy for put this on this list. Because, as much as I think it's a fun game, 10 games everyone should have? No way. Factory Fun fits a very, very select few of
If
people.
you like puzzle-style
You
games...
can say it about every single game. I'm here. If you like games about Sparta that are abstract strategy designed by a 12-year-old, then you'll love Sparta.
He's 12?
Yes.
Good job, buddy. Good job. No, tell me a better puzzle-style game.
Galaxy Trucker.
Yeah, you just
Moving on!
just shot yourself in the foot with that one.
Number 2.
My number 2, surprisingly enough, is Ticket to Ride, but that's higher on someone else's list. Who? We'll see in a minute.
Yes, we shall.
Take it, Sam.
Oh, it's my turn now?
Yes, we've all done it.
Okay. My number 2 for the co-op category is Shadows over Camelot. We have played this game and played this game and played this game and played this game, and every time it comes out, we still enjoy playing it. There are, I guess you could say, other co-op games out there that
No, there's plenty of other cooperative games.
play better, maybe. I don't think
Say
so.
I would say so.
I don't think so.
I don't think any of them play as big a group as easily
Okay.
and are as flavorful, maybe.
Yeah, well, definitely flavor is where it hit it for me. Just the the Monty Python cracks every single time we come out, accusing people of being the traitor, all of these kind of things. It's just very, very fun, and it's one of the original, I guess, co-op games that came out. Definitely the one that sold me on co-op games.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I put it on my list over other more obvious choices. If you know anything about me.
Yeah, I'm very. We're going to be talking about this in just a minute. I'm very curious about this.
Because, again, it just hits more points. I think it has a wider breadth of, again, exactly what he was hitting me on last category for picking a game that has a very narrow category, Factory Fun. It's true. Very few people, if you have to know you like the category to like the game. This, if in any way at all you like co-op games, you'll probably like it. And it plays, 7?
Yeah, 7 with the expansion.
Drop in, drop out ability. That means you can show up the game's going.
That's true. That may be the only game that has that.
It's amazing. That's great.
Yeah.
It has a good flavor. It has a neat theme. A trader element, which you can or cannot use, actually, and that's another sweet spot. You can ignore that. You can choose to
Although
say...
you shouldn't.
The game's hard enough, especially with the expansion, where you can choose to ignore there being a trader. That's fine. So, yes, I think for most people, this is the best co-op to keep around.
All right.
He made my case for me.
Show number 2.
Okay, number 2 for me.
The only game that hit all 3 of our lists, which I actually thought there would be more than just one.
There you go. King of Tokyo, which is on everybody's list. That's right.
Yep.
This is my dice game. Same thing, I'm assuming. And
Yep.
you need a good, fun, relatively light dice game. This is it. This is packed with theme, flavor, great action cards. Plays a good group again. Plays in about half an hour or so. It's hard to top this dice game right now. I cannot think of another dice game. I can think of plenty of dice games that have better mechanics, maybe, but not one of them more fun or flavorful or just laugh-filled than this.
See, I didn't think of it as a dice game, although that's a good thing. I was thinking more of it as the take that, haha type game, because there's a lot of those. Bang, cash and guns. There's a lot of those games you're like, oh, what did I do to you? Boom, boom. King of Tokyo is just my game of choice in that one. And like last year at Dice Tower Convention, this was the #1 played game by far. And even when I was at the Origins just last week, same thing. Everywhere I went, people are playing King of Tokyo because it's just that fun.
Yeah, and I think it also touches on the filler game category because of its brevity. It was a no-brainer, really, when I was making my list. I knew right off the bat that it was going to make my list. I just had to figure out where.
Right. Yeah, there were about 2 games that came to mind right away when I started putting my list together. This was one of them. It's just no two ways about it. This is a great dice game.
Yep.
And King, it's called King of Tokyo because King's the best character in it. All right, no disagreement.
And finally, #1.
All right.
Oh, is this one of the ones we're allowed to shake and turn over?
Oh, yeah, because this is just the boards.
Oh,
this is okay.
wow.
But it also makes it like a ton of bricks. Anyway, my #1, every gamer, every casual gamer, every person who has a slight interest in playing games should have this in your collection. Maybe not Ticket to Ride Europe. There's a whole bunch of different versions of it. But Ticket to Ride, you need to have a Ticket to Ride game in your gaming arsenal.
I agree.
If you don't,
Sorry.
you're
Sorry.
a moron.
Wow! No, I did not. Okay, my agreement stopped short of that.
You knew I was going to say it. Come on. You must have. If you do not have Ticket to Ride, you need to...
What if they don't like it, though?
Okay.
Keep it anyway.
Yes.
Moron.
Just so that you don't look stupid. Other people...
What if Sam comes over and checks
Yes.
your shelves?
You don't have Ticket to Ride? Don't you listen.
I'm leaving now.
Anyway, of course, all this is tongue-in-cheek. Ticket to Ride is I think, today's... now, I don't want to draw too many parallels here, but I think Ticket to Ride is this generation's Monopoly. If you don't have Ticket to Ride, it should be in your selection.
It's up there. It's definitely up there.
Yeah, if you never played games, and so I'm curious of this. His #1, it was my #2. This was the very first game I thought of. The very first one.
Right.
I was like, oh, well, Ticket to Ride. And then I was like, okay, what else? But Ticket to Ride, because it plays well 2 to 5. It's so easy to teach. You might wonder, folks, where Settlers of Catan and Carcassonne are, and they're both good games, but I think Ticket to Ride, if I was choosing one of those 3, it would be Ticket to Ride. So why is it not on your
far.
list? Why?
I got some. So do it.
Oh, you got some splaining to do, boy.
Because it's very well known, I guess, because everybody probably has it
it's
already.
so well known.
Doesn't belong in the list because it's so...
It's kind of like It's kind of like if I thought Monopoly was a game everybody needs, me putting Monopoly on the list.
Yes.
That's what the whole list is.
Yes.
No, but I feel like making a list now about the top 10 essential games, if I put Monopoly on it, if you're out there and you at all play games or think about playing games, you know about Monopoly.
Okay, so you're saying it's so obvious you didn't need to put it on your list.
Yes, kind of. I think so, yeah.
That's so lame.
No, I mean... I don't think I feel that strongly about it either. You're probably right. It's a
Okay,
great
well, that
game.
I would
Most
accept.
people- Most people...
He just called you a moron.
Yes.
I have it. I have Ticket to Ride.
Okay, you're not...
I think, for example, games like, I'll look at my list, Jamaica covers some of the same territory. I think Jamaica.
All right, go to your #1. What's your number
All
one?
right, my #1,
Which was my #10.
which was Tom's #10, Pillars of the Earth, worker placement category. I decided to do this category instead of doing a deck building category just because I like this better, I guess. I think it's a better category. And my choice was this game. Sam was talking about Stone Age.
That's a good one.
It's lighter than this. I played it, and I played it a few times and then didn't really dig it anymore. But Pillars of the Earth, I still really like it. It just has lots of replayability, I feel. It doesn't have the randomness of the die rolls in Stone Age. I wasn't gelling with.
But it does have the randomness of pulling from the bag, and that could be some pretty big randomness.
Yeah, but you're paying more if you get pulled early. I mean, it balances out. It hurts you a little bit too. You need. I haven't played it yet. A better worker placement game. I played one recently. I thought came close actually, and that was the Manhattan Project. Is a great worker placement game.
Got the expansion packed. All right,
we're playing that now. But great worker placement game.
Worker placements, real quick. 3 choices that I had was Manhattan Project, this, and Stone Age.
Yeah.
Look at that, the agreement. Now, I did not pick this because of worker placement. I just thought that, I didn't want to give just 9 simple, easy games, that you should try to go a little bit farther with that in gaming. And so I wanted maybe a solid Euro-style game. And for the longest time when I was making my list, I had Puerto Rico, and I kept thinking, wow, Sam is going to just jump all over me for putting Puerto Rico on there.
You're still going to do that as soon as you're done talking.
But I really do like Puerto Rico. And then I thought Pillars of the Earth, and I thought, ooh. And then the reason I picked Pillars of the Earth over Puerto Rico is, if nothing else, theme and just how gorgeous it looks. Puerto Rico, though, was a very close second for me. But either way, I think that you should push yourself beyond just playing simple games, because when you play these more fulfilling games, you're like, wow.
That's what I just said about Ticket to Ride.
All right.
Push yourself beyond the obvious.
This is what I'm thinking about about the whole. See, I don't think you have to have a real heavy game in that first lot of 10 to 20 games that you buy.
Yeah.
You got to make sure that you're...
Well, you did pick Summoner Wars, and it's not that simple.
Huh?
Well,
Summoner Wars
it's more complex.
completely simple.
But it's
fairly light, yeah.
Okay,
very
fine.
Compared to Pillars of the Earth?
Yeah, it's like a 90
paper, rock,
minute game.
scissors. But anyway, wow. I just didn't think you needed a heavy game. I was looking more as, if you're going to start your collection, these are the 10 that you need to start with. Make sure that you're into the hobby. Make sure that you're into, the time commitment, the money commitment, and then start buying some of those heavier games. That's kind of what I was thinking. Pillars of the Earth is a good game. I enjoyed. I'm not doubting that or going against that at all. I'm just saying that I think it's a little too heavy for this kind of.
Yeah, I think the way I treated it was, if you know you like the category I mentioned, you got to try the one I said, because it's probably the best of the category, if not one of the best.
All right. Oh, and my number 1. I was getting ready to turn it off.
He did.
My number 1 is, why is this not on your list? You're always every single list.
See, you got some more explaining to do.
Hi, Lucy.
I gave you. This is like a softball pitch to you. Is this the same thing as Ticket to Ride?
It's
so obvious.
Silver platter.
It's so obvious that you didn't need to say it.
No, I still think Shadows over Camelot is a better co-op.
But you didn't put that in your list either.
I did. Shadows over Camelot is on my list.
Oh, that's right, it is. Never mind.
It's a better co-op for most people. It plays a bigger group, has drop in, drop out, da.
Wow, then you're completely satisfied with that answer,
Yes,
I'm sure. I picked Pandemic because while I think the Shadows over Camelot works well, I think the theme of Pandemic is very attractive to many people.
It's scary.
Well, no, some people will come in and be like, oh, dungeons, dragons, knights, wizards. And then you say, here we saved the world. And I mean, you can, even for people like, hey, this is World War Z. Just pretend that the pandemic cubes are zombies.
Not bad.
I'm going to go play that way right now.
No, I know some people who have, and I actually bought zombies to do it myself and then never got around to it. But the new expansion, I mean, they just came out with a newer version, which, either way, it's very accessible. You can buy it in Target, which is a big deal.
Right.
I think in my top 10, when we were going over games to pick, Pandemic wasn't the first one that came to my mind. Ticket to Ride was, but I also immediately thought I have to put a cooperative game on the list. Because cooperative games, many people who don't like games don't like them because at one point their husband threw cards at them, or their brothers and sisters. There was a huge fight when they were kids. Cooperative games, people really get a kick out of those because they're working together.
Fist fights all the time over Pandemic. We're playing what? No, we're playing Pandemic.
Oh, that way. All right.
Yeah, that way.
Well, anyhow, that was my number 1. Feel free to put in the comments your top 10 essential games that you think everybody should have, and tell us why we are wrong or right about our lists. Give us some feedback. Tell us what top 10 lists you'd like to see in the future. And if you come next week to Dice Tower Convention, we'll be doing 1 or 2 of these lists live. What topics will we be talking about? You'll see then. Live audience, maybe with a special guest. Probably not, but maybe.
Oh, maybe.
All right.
Mystery.
Oh, I was about to turn this up. Until next time, I'm Tom Vasel.
I'm Zee Garcia.
And I am Sam Healey.
Now we're turning it off.
Oh.
Thanks so much for watching the Dice Tower videos. Find more great videos and reviews, as well as our top-rated audio podcast at Dicetower.com. You can also find other great shows at Dicetowernetwork.com. I'm Eric Summerer, and you've been watching The Dice Tower. The Dice Tower is sponsored by Cool Stuff Inc., where you can find great games for great prices. Cool stuff in stock. Check them out at CoolStuffInc.com.